OMOS versus Almighty Bobby Lashley. Now, the only comment I made from this is that, well, I made several, but that OMOS makes Bobby Lashley look like the Haiti kid in there.
Yeah, or smaller. Yeah, it's that OMOS. He's a big guy, huh?
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure I'll mention something. I'm sure you'll add on it. Is anyway as a giant. He put a claw on Bobby Lashley, and you're working for 70,000, whatever they build the thing for. And instead of
yeah.
doing the, even Giant Gonzalez would have done this, the big arm back, rah, bang on the head, make a big deal of it. Whereas Omos just went like that.
Yeah.
And there was like no build up to it or anything like that. I think he doesn't know how to work as a giant from my point of view. What do you think?
Oh man, I think Omos is a big guy, man. Yeah. God, he's big, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Okay, here, ask me what I think of his work.
What do you think of his work?
Oh man, he's big, isn't he?
How many, when you were producing, when you were working, how many big guys came through and they just couldn't get it? They couldn't work out how to be a giant and then just disappeared just as quickly?
Uh, it's kind of double sided there because it's not only do guys not know how to work like a giant, guys don't get booked properly who are giants, as giants sometimes. I mean, my God, like Big Show. I've known Big Show a long time and worked with him back when I was in my 20s. And I worked with him when I was in my 30s in the office and like on TV and on the road. And like, what an exceptional talent. Like, and such a hard worker, and he puts in his time, and like he really cares. And he's another guy who's matured throughout the years. And how many times has he been a heel and a baby face over the years?
I
how,
think
how
it's over
much
30 switches in his career.
is that real?
Yeah, I think it's at least 30, probably more.
Okay, I didn't know that was a thing, or like people knew it.
Yeah,
That's
somebody
just
actually
what came to
went.
mind.
Yeah, someone's actually catalogued every single one from his debut in WCW.
Okay, well then I might be onto something here
Mm.
if people are noticing that, because then it's hard to get behind the guy or believe in the guy. And he's so overexposed, like Andre, as far as like a national audience or global audience. And I know like uh, yeah, Andre, like back when it was in black and white, whatever, before the internet and shit. But like, yeah, the run as a babyface, right? Being booked out by Vince's dad.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, the turn on Hogan, right? Which it drew a couple bucks, right? And then turn back babyface to kind of wind down his career when he turned on Bobby Heenan. And after they dropped the tag titles, Demolition, I think. And it turned Andre back babyface, and then that was it, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't overexposed though. It's still special to see Andre the Giant. And so like with Omos, like he's big. No, but it's really hard to not overexpose somebody, right? Like, I heard that okay, so like talking about being desensitized to stuff, I think is Dr. Tom, probably Dr. Tom, saying like back in Tampa and FCW being desensitized to stuff. I don't know if he said it or I said it to him or he made it, I don't know. He probably made it up. But I remember being there with him and saying like, I don't care about authorship. It's the dumbest thing ever, but it makes a lot of sense. So imagine like somebody comes in the first day in the FCW, and we've been here as long as we've been here. And there's a stoop that goes down right outside on the side doors. FCW coming into the room with two rings, an office offshoot from the studio, and there's two giant African elephants, and they're fucking each other right there by the door stoop, right? And the newcomer probably come in and say, "Hey, what the fuck? Somebody come here." And be like, what, the elephants? You go, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, the elephants, they fuck each other on Tuesdays, right? So then, like, I'm probably modifying this shit, but like, next Tuesday comes in, and the guy's been there a week, and he's like, I can't believe it. So like, oh, you guys know, I can't believe I get to see it again, whatever. So then he sees the two elephants, and they're fucking, right? Weeks go by, 5, 6 weeks. Another newcomer comes in. Hey, what the fuck? 6-week guy, veteran of the elephant fucking sightseeing. Yeah, so oh, what, the elephants? Yeah, they fuck here every Tuesday. So you get desensitized to that shit, man, because that actually happened at FCW with the elephants.
There was 36 switches.
36 switches?
The big
That's
show, yeah.
noteworthy. I just broke a bombshell that we had elephants fucking outside FCW every Tuesday. You don't care.
Oh, well, I see it every Tuesday.
You guys got that out there too?
Yeah.
Is that what they did at Wigan?
Well, the elephant fucking. Yeah, in the 1920s, yeah. I believe, yeah.
Oh my gosh. The snake pit.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
This is something of nothing. I thought Adrian Street did the snake pit, and then I said, oh, you're in the snake pit? And he went, no. I was like, oh, okay, well, that was a massive downer.
Really?
Yeah, I thought he was, but he wrestled a lot of people from the snake pit. Just before I forget about this match, OMOS does like a bear hug, sort of drive into the corner, and Bobby Lashley, he's too high up, and he bends right over backwards and smashes the back of his head on the post. Yeah. How is he alive?
Yeah, I don't know. His dumb luck, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, you don't really want to take bumps or anything where you can't see where you're going, and kind of like take your own bump if you don't know the guy you're in there with. And then especially sometimes if you do know the guy you're in there with, right? So it's important to know who you're in there with. And yeah, that OMOS, his execution on some of those things, right? Gosh, he's big.
He's a big man. This is something I normally ask on my regular show, but I thought I'd ask you, is any particular wrestler that you wrestled once, or maybe even more than once, that you were just terrified for your life because they were so clumsy, or they're just 2 left feet, or just it always seemed to go wrong and you always seem to get hurt?
Maybe never get hurt. There's guys who work close, you know, there's guys who work snug, tight and everything. And that, I like that. That's welcome. That's how it should be. Especially TV, you know. Nothing's dark anymore though. So just full time. I mean, that's how you should work, I think. Just nothing where it would reinstate disbelief. And there's some guys who are more heavy-handed than others, but relatively safe, where you can, you know, do it the next night. And there's guys who throw potatoes and guys who are just 2 left feet. And you can kind of, there's been sporadic, like on the independents, like I wouldn't trust anybody to do much of anything, you know? And then when I was working on TV, I didn't really work with like a lot of underneath talent. You know, the guys I was in there with were pros, even if they weren't main event guys or like top guys or WrestleMania main events. I mean, I wasn't a WrestleMania main event. I was a TV main event a lot. But yeah, no, I was fortunate. And then the guys who were kind of like, you know, how do I put this nicely? They were big guys, right? You kind of just set them in the middle and have a match around them. You know, yeah, and I've had some good teachers over the years, and a lot of it is, you know, exploiting the positives and camouflaging the negatives or hiding them completely. I like camouflaging the negatives because then at least you can use the negatives for something disguised in another way than just totally being rid of it. And sometimes that's nice. Other times you do want to shed the skin and find one positive thing about the person, just amplify it. But then the deal is everybody gets exposed, for better or for worse, sooner or later. If you can't hang, you're going to get exposed. If you're full of shit, you're going to get exposed. If you're lying, you're going to get exposed.
OMOS is a big guy.
And if you have a good eye for talent like you do, you'll get exposed for that, which is what you just said. OMOS, mighty big fella.
I'm sorry I crapped all over your punchline then. You were probably going to say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I will we'll move on. We'll repair this relationship eventually over time for my horrible faux pas.
Were you surprised at that finish?
Who won? Was it Lashley? No. I'd even forgot who won.